Hello, Merry Christmas, everyone. This is Garang Lowell again. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. To all my fans, my family, my influencers, my followers, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. I hope you guys are blessed and safe in all your respective places around the world. It has been uh, a pleasure, interacting with you all around the world through social media platforms. And thank you very much for all your comments, interaction, and sharing to my videos. They have encouraged me to keep going and to maintain the pace and continue in a journey of making the world a better place through this motivational channel, live motivational channel. Okay, I just wanted to continue the topic that we have started, that is family planning, family love relationship planning process that I have discussed, and we have discussed last time in part one. I'm just here to continue in part two. Okay, like we said, that family planning, family love, marriage, relationship planning process is essential. It's very important for various reasons, beginning with the marriage process, how marriage process are done in every part of the world is different, and it is very important to be discussed, and the cons and pros of those marriage processes, and to make it easier for people to fall in love, to build relationship, to maintain those relationships, to manage, and so that they can succeed and prosper. We also discuss various reasons, the objectives, and the purpose why people get married in the first place. We talk about the right and appropriate age of marrying a person, both for male and female. We talk about dating process, how people, around the world, when they get to get married, people get to date and get to know each other first before, getting into a long-term marital relationship. We also talk about the dowry, how certain cultures, certain nations, countries practice the issue of dowry, that is the payment price that is paid to a bride family by the bridegroom, and sometimes it can be vice versa, and all this because of differences in social, cultural, legal um, uh, differences between countries and nations and cultures and people around the world. And we have covered a lot of topic. So as I said, we are continuing, and we start by, when people get married, you know, we said there's a lot of reason why people get married, and one of obvious reason is to produce kids, and to have children and raise them up. That is the main and the major reason why people get married. There might be some, uh, you know, other reasons, but the major. So we're discussing children in love and marital relationship. It's very important when people coming to start a family or get married, or fall in love, start relationship, that um, they discuss the number of children people are going to have. Sometimes it can be a personal decision based on many factors. It can be based on values, beliefs, financial situation, and lifestyle. You know, um, so children is very important to be discussed when coming to get married. How many kids are we going to have? As a couple. Um, so it is very important, for a couple to have an honest and open discussion and conversation about the desire and and the the number of the kids that they're going to have. There is no one size fits all. The answer is based on the couple and how they feel about small or large family. It's basically up to them. But it is very essential to discuss when you're coming to, to meet your partner and telling that you are getting married, because it is very important. So getting married, starting a family, and raising children is very significant event in people's life. So planning and preparing for such event is very important, and for a successful and prosperous life. So this includes the number of children the couple are supposed to have before they get married, which must be discussed and agreed upon so that people know and understand what to expect in relationship. Okay, in the past, especially in the Middle Ages, in feudalism system before the Industrial Revolution era, it was not a major problem or great concern as to how many children a person or family could have. Why? Because having a large family and many children was considered an advantage. Especially, they could help the family cultivate the land, look after stock or cattle, and produce a large harvest, than a small family with a few kids. So this was in the past. In contrast, now in the modern time, in a modern after the Industrial Revolution and technological advancement, it became increasingly important to consider financial, economical circumstances and how the family are going to afford to pay for life necessities, including looking after many children, because now having a large family and many kids can cost a lot of money, and people need to think twice before having kids. Of course, it's still a practice that many people have many children in some part of the world, because of the culture or religion or legal. But in advanced countries, it is really a very major concern. So therefore, when people get married or start a family, they must plan the number of children they will have based on their physical, financial situation and the resources they possess. On the other hand, this is still a challenging problem confronting many societies, as I said, and communities around the world, who pay no consideration to the number of spouses, as I said before, that um, nowadays there are so many types of marital relationship, that is including polygamy and polyandrous. How many spouses or how many children one could have without sufficient or adequate resources to look after this huge family. According to my observation, my a little study and research, people really don't care, how many kids and how many children, how many women are they going to have, or wives, it doesn't matter whether they have many resources, they have a lot of resources to look after this huge family, as long as, I can be proud of having those many kids. But it's okay, I'm not attacking any person, but I'm stating the facts, and everybody is entitled to their opinion. Just stating my opinion. Therefore, family planning is to help a lot of people around the world plan and prepare before they get married, before they start a family, carefully to consider and discuss the number of kids, number of children, that they are willing to have before they start producing children and fail to look after them properly. So, family planning process is basically to help family. If you are in, already have that large family, you are not wrong. When you don't know something, you cannot be blamed for it. But now that you have the knowledge, maybe you could consider, having a family planned, and marriage and relationship planning process in order to succeed and prosper. And not only you as well, but the community, the society that is you live in. Failure to do so could lead to many family relationship breakdown, separation, divorce, family domestic violence, children leaving homes earlier in age with no promising future, even before completing school and higher education. The ramifications of failing to plan or discuss the number of children, the number of spouses one could have, lead to many family relationship breakdowns, including family separation, and divorce, and domestic violence, and children leaving home early with no promising future before even completing school. Why? Because if there is no adequate resources, no sufficient resources, no enough money to look after this huge family, then people will fend for themselves, and that means leaving a school if there is no food at home, if there is no proper clothing, if there is no proper shelter, if there is no basic necessities of life available in the house, then people will have to leave home early, even as young as as you could imagine. Why? Because they have to be independent, because dad or mom is not able to provide. Why? Because people did not plan, beforehand, before getting married or starting a family. But again, I'm not attacking any person. I'm just stating the fact, and then we could consider, up to the point now, what can we do, beginning from now into the future? What can we correct, so that we could not have the same problem? And that is the main focus and the purpose of this family love relationship planning process. This social and cultural trend does not only affect a family or community, but the negative impact can be reflected in the wider society and the social and economic situation of the country. You see? So this trend, or the problem, cannot only affect the family or the couple, but it can affect the community, it can affect the society, socially, politically, economically. So we are in together. So, a family problem can become a community problem, and a community problem can become a society problem. So, we are there to address a common problem that is affecting everyone. So that is regard to children in family and marital relationship. All right. Now we discuss something also very important, and that is infertility in love and marital relationship. This is something that I have come to know and learned about infertility. Infertility is inability to produce children in a family relationship. If the couple are unable to conceive or produce kids, there are several options available to them to build a family if they desire to continue or to maintain the relationship. So sometimes people get married, start a family, and then get surprised to live many years without producing kids, even though they are trying to have children. And then if they go to a doctor and get checked and they say, maybe there is a problem. There is, your wife or your husband, is barren or is infertile, or there is some problem, medical problem, with your partner that is unable to produce kids. It can be a shock. It can be a surprise to somebody in the relationship. So, family planning, family love marital relationship planning process is very essential. Sometimes we could actually discuss things. We can go to a doctor, check ourselves, are we really in good condition before we go ahead, instead of being surprised later on, and then it can be a big problem. Big problem. Even though we love each other, but where's the fruit of our love relationship? That is the kids. If there is none, it can cause anxiety, depression, and many problem, health problem. So the first thing people could consider when there is barrenness or inability to produce kids, people could adopt. Family can adopt children. That's an alternative if there is no possibility of producing naturally children. So people could adopt. The adoption now is available around the world, and and the couple can live happily together. Another alternative is fostering. A couple can foster, can become foster parents, to children by providing temporary care, for the child that is not their biological. So that's a second alternative. If adoption is not possible, foster care can be provided. The third alternative is assisted reproductive technology. The couple struggling with producing children can explore all options, including IVF. This is where the couple can use IVF, that is surrogacy, or sperm or egg donation. This is a very advanced medical terminology, so you could explore and go and research about IVF, but it is one of the ways that can assist people produce children, apart from natural reproductive birth. The fourth is to live child-free lifestyle. The couple can say, okay, if we are unable to produce children, we could really live happy, without kids, since we love each other very well. So that is another alternative. So you can see that infertility, it's a big issue, and when it's happened, it can cause a major problem and major concern to people if it's not properly addressed. But to avoid all this, it is to discuss before getting married or starting a family officially. So it is important for the couple to communicate openly with each other and seek support from healthcare professionals and counselors if needed when navigating challenges related to fertility and family planning. So all these options that I have mentioned, you could actually explore them by yourself as a couple, or you could seek help. There are so many help and support that are available professionally and personally, and through doctors and counselors, even religious leaders can help in this aspect. Therefore, family planning is such a helpful and beneficial process in life, including business and government and personal life. For example, planning to prepare ahead for unexpected events and changes that can occur in the future, including speculating and forecasting possible and potential solution and strategies for addressing problems and challenges, is very important. So family planning is very important, even in life, such as in government, in business and personal life. That's including family. So we could plan, what happened if actually we could not produce children in the future. Of course, no one wanted to discuss negative issues, but I think we could not escape the reality of life. So discussing some things that, or forecasting things that might happen in the future, it can help us, avoid many problems. So family planning is the plan for unexpected or unforeseen circumstances, if necessary, and avoid a family domestic violence, conflict as a result, including infertility, barrenness, or any terminal illness. So most marriages and family relationships are started to produce children who can carry the family lineage and potential heirs of the couple. So like I said, the major purpose or the main purpose couple get married or start a family is to produce children. So when infertility happens, that is a major shock and a surprise that can cause a lot of anxiety, depression, stress, because the couple or the family expect children to carry their family lineage or to be the potential heirs, of their wealth or properties or anything. So if there is no children in the family, that is a major concern. So planning is really important. Therefore, in the event of infertility and barrenness or inability of couple to produce children, for any reason, can result in disappointment for both partners and perhaps surprise to the relatives and the community. You see, so it's not only to the family, the relative can be even shocked. The community can be even surprised, because imagine people got married in a lavish wedding, in a big wedding where everybody was present, and then expecting that actually there's going to be children in this beautiful family, and when that doesn't happen, everybody will be asking, especially in Africa where I came from, people will be whispering and gossiping. It can cause a lot of stress. Believe me, it is not the best scenario. So, primitively, it can be a great problem that is characterized as shame, embarrassment, and a taboo in some communities and societies and cultures. So, as I said, in some communities, it can be a shame, embarrassment, a taboo in some communities and societies and cultures when someone is barren or someone is unable to produce kids, whether it's a man or a woman. They are embarrassed because people talk and gossip a lot. Why that person is not producing kids, why that person is and people will be hiding. You will be hiding, locking yourself in the house, unable to move around because people will be talking about you, and that is a very major concern. So you see, that was back then, in a primitive years. Even today, it's still the practice. There's some people engage in those discussions. So, however, due to the rise of civilization and advanced technology, this has become a less complex problem, as several solutions can be sought to address this medical and social problem. However, now that before the civilization and advanced technology, so now that technology is available, people can overcome this kind of taboo and embarrassment by seeking help medically, and from medical community by IVF, adoption, foster care. All these are creative ideas and solutions that have emerged how people could actually live happily even though they do not have biological children, and that is really important, to help people, live happily when they are infertile. Therefore, to avoid such event from happening afterward, we're looking for solution, and answers can be time consuming and costly. It is better to plan before getting married and starting a family. Even though there are solutions medically and scientifically, it is better, as they always say, prevention is better than a cure. So it is better to plan ahead and discuss potential problem that could arise in the future, and explore strategies or methods of addressing that problem, um, you know, rather than wait and seek solution afterward, where it is going to be a time consuming and costly as well, because all these solutions are not going to be free. They're going to cost money, and they're going to cost time as well. So that's why family, love, marital relationship is very essential and important when starting a family or getting married. This can be achieved through couple discussing such events and discussing strategies and mechanisms of addressing such problem before and after, avoid many hurdles and problems, even embarrassment from the family and community, as well as costs associated with looking for solution after marriage. Okay, so that was infertility, in brief, in summary, and you could actually go and explore by yourself through doing a little bit of research. What I'm doing here is to just give people a head start about what we are facing as a family, as a community, as a society, and how we could actually go about it, because we are in a journey of making the world a better place, yes, this is who we are. Okay, now we go into family separation, divorce, and remarriage process in the world. Imagine that people get married, start a family, and then the worst scenario, like we are discussing the worst scenarios. Infidelity is a worst scenario that actually can happen when people start a family, get married. Another is separation, divorce, and remarriage process, in the world. How can people go about it and how it has been? Okay, family separation, divorce, remarriage process can be vary or can greatly different around the world due to cultural, legal, and religious differences. In general, family separations refer to the breakdown of marriage or partnership resulting in individual living apart from their spouse or partner. You know, uh, like the world is very big, it's complex, it's dynamic, it's transformative, it's ever progressing. So, and like the world is very big. So family separation is a family breakdown. Is when people who are married, the couple who are married or have a family, including children, got separated, for many reasons, due to disagreement, due to conflict that they could not longer bear. So they decided, okay, look, honey, we are going to live apart. We don't think this marriage relationship is going to continue, or de facto relation is going to continue. So they decided to go separate ways. You know, um, and divorce is a legal process of ending a marriage or partnership, often involving the division of assets, child custody arrangement, and other legal matters. So, family separation is different than divorce. Divorce is where people have gotten into to a stage where the law has involved. People have signed the paper stating that actually these people, marriage has been legally ended. So that's a divorce, and then include people can divide the assets. Where in the Western countries, even you know um, where there's huge assets, people can actually divide those assets. And there's child custody arrangement. The couple can discuss, if there are children involved, how the children are going to live, who are they going to live with, and if they're living with one partner, what is the arrangement, the child support, and etc. And it's very complex, it's complicated, involve a lot of legal process. So the requirement and the procedure for divorce can differ greatly from country to country and even within different regions within a country. Yes, family separation, divorce, and remarriage can be different. So the divorce, there is some even nations or countries where you can never hear something called divorce, and this is their culture. You know, I'm just this is an opinion. I don't know whether it's true or wrong, but you know yes, I believe there is some. So remarriage occur when individuals who have previously been married enter into a new relationship with different partner. And again, social, cultural, and legal norms play a significant role in how remarriage is viewed. So remarriage is when somebody who is separated or divorced decided to marry again or into a new marriage relationship. In many countries, there are support systems in place to help individuals navigate this process, such as counseling service, legal aid, and community resources. So family separation, it is not an easy, family separation and divorce is not easy process. It's painful because imagine breaking a family apart, where children are going to struggle, even single moms, single dads are going to struggle, you know. So in many countries, there are some support for such process, if you got yourself into a family separation or divorce, you could be helped, counsel on how to live, how to cope with that situation, how to overcome or come out of that situation, including legal aid and community resources. Therefore, it is important for individuals going through family separation, divorce, or remarriage to seek out the appropriate support and information specific to their situation and location. Okay, so if people found themselves in this situation, separation, divorce, or remarriage, they could actually look for us help and support. It's very important to know, they say knowledge is power. Why? When you know, when you possess the right information, you'll be able to find the solution easier, and quickly. But if you are ignorant or you don't know, the best thing you could do is to seek help to us. There is a favorite verse in the Bible that said, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find. Yeah, so knock and it will be open to you. So I think it's very relevant. Yeah, when we find ourselves in this situation, the best thing we could do is ask people, including, there are some institutions that are there to offer support and help. Therefore, it's important for people to understand family separation, divorce, and remarriage process in the country or in the community they belong. So they often say knowledge is power. However, the majority of people argue that knowledge is power only when put to use or applied correctly to benefit from it. This is just what I said, when people don't know something, they could struggle, to find a solution. This can happen in the family separation, divorce, and remarriage. Therefore, knowing about how family relationships are established is critical aspect of family planning, so that people will know when things fall apart. Why did I incorporate this in family planning? It is because, people have to understand, family planning, that starting a family or getting married, there are worst case scenario that could occur, including like infertility that we said. This is a worst case scenario. Families, what can we do if things fall apart? It could be discussed, and explained, so people could not be surprised if this thing happen, and the solution could be easy as well. Yes, the process has been made easy and simple in some countries and societies. However, they can be difficult and complex in others due to legal, social, cultural, and religious differences in the world. So, family separation, divorce, and remarriage process, it's beyond personal ability, capacity, because it's involved state, community, social, and cultural aspect. So when these things are made available by the government, by the state, by the nation, people will have the knowledge, how to go about these things. But if they are not available or they are not made aware about these things, people could just struggle and walk in the dark, without knowing that the solutions are available for them or the help and the support is available for them. But in some countries, these things have been made easy and simple, especially in the West countries where I have been living for many, many years. I think, family separation, divorce, and remarriage process has been made easy, but in other countries it can be complex. And that's why I'm discussing these things, so we could help many people who are experiencing this circumstance and situation. So therefore, every nation or country must have set of legal laws, social and cultural norms, and religious practices that regulate such important events of family life. So a country or a nation can have legal laws and social and cultural practices, religious practices that help people navigate their way out of this situation and circumstances. This can include the issue of reconciliation in the event of family breakdown and separation and divorce. However, in the case if the reconciliation, reunification process fail, the remarriage process after separation and divorce can be made simple and easy as well, and clear to people, so people can help themselves. And we will discuss later the role of the government and the state in the family planning process. Okay, I think that was family separation, divorce, remarriage, in brief and in summary. By the way, this is a book as well, and it's in a process of being written and published in due course. So when the book is out, there is so much information about all these things. So this is just a brief summary of family, love, relationship, planning process book that I have made into a short video. Okay, so monogamous, polygamous, and polyandrous marital relationship in the world. Okay, so this is another type of relationship that we have or discovered exists. Marriage practices can be different around the world based on cultural, religious, and legal factors. Here, this is a brief overview of the different types of marital relationship in the world. Monogamy. Monogamy is the most common form of marital relationship in the world, where individuals are in a committed relationship with only one partner at a time. So monogamous is where you committed to one wife and one husband, and that's it. If you are a woman, if you are a man, committed to one wife, that is monogamous relationship, marital relationship. Polygamy marital relationship is a practice of having multiple spouses at the same time. So this is polygamy is where a man can have multiple wives, multiple women, and it's becoming widespread around the world. Polygamy marital relationships are recognized legally in some countries, particularly in part of Africa, Middle East, and Asia. But in other countries, it is prohibited, So it is allowed in some countries and is prohibited in another. Polyandry is the practice of a woman having multiple husbands. This type of marital relationship is much rare than polygamy and is found in certain cultures such as Nepal, Tibet, India, and other parts of the world. So polyandrous, that was polygamy, where a man can have multiple women. This is polyandry, where a woman can have multiple men. If you never heard about it, now you know that something that exists, that women can have multiple husbands. But it's okay. It's not a matter of fun, but it is a fact, and I suggest you go into research and find out, what is it, something that I have. So polyandrous marriage may be accepted or even encouraged in these societies as a way of marriage or managing resources or inheritance. So polyandrous relationship, the reason they do it, it is to manage resources or inheritance. However, it is important to note that attitudes and law regarding marriage are constantly evolving, and what is accepted or prohibited can vary over time. As I said, social norms, legal practices regarding marital relationship are evolving and progressing. That means they are changing over time. So what is accepted or prohibited in given time can change over time. What was accepted 100 years ago, can be prohibited now, or what was prohibited 100 years ago, it can be accepted right now. So there are different rules, different practices, social practices, depending on on the time, because society is progressing and evolving. Therefore, what is acceptable of this marital relationship depends on the specific culture, religious, legal context in which they occur. Okay? Consequently, learning about social, cultural, religious development is very important, especially regarding family and marital relationship. So it is very important that actually we acquaint ourselves about social, religious, legal, and legal development regarding family and marital relationship in every context, in every location, in every nation, country, society, so that we could actually know what we're doing, whether we're doing something right or wrong. So, as suggested previously, that health and positive family relationship contribute significantly to the stability and well-functioning society, economically, socially, and politically. So, why do we have to acquaint ourselves with the social, cultural, religious, and legal development, about family and marital relations? Because we needed to do the right thing, and as we've stated in our introduction, that a well, healthy, positive, functioning family and marital relationship contribute to stability and well-functioning society, economically, socially, and politically. So, family problem, marital problem, it can be a societal problem, and that can negatively impact social, political, and economic aspect of the country or of the nation. For example, polygamy and polyandry family and marital relationship are a new version of marriage relationship to the majority of people around the world. Therefore, knowing about this type of marital relationship in the country or in the community is very important for the success of marital relationship one could have. So, if the society made it clear that this type of relationship, marital relationship, are available, people actually could plan their life according to what they know, according to the social, cultural, legal, religious practices regarding to family relationship. But if they do not know, they will not be able to plan their life accordingly. So it is very essential that actually we make people aware of what is available and what is accepted and what is prohibited, so people can, if you don't know where you're going, you could easily get lost, and that could be a disaster. The opposite is true. Not knowing could result in disaster and dysfunctioning family relationship to the couple and to the children and to the society as well. Therefore, the country must make people aware of such social, cultural, and religious practices and legal practices as well regarding family and marital relationship. To illustrate further, polygamy and marrying multiple wives and partners have several advantages, including having a large family and many children. As I said, having multiple wives can help people, establish or have a big family and many children, which can help one produce help them in the farm or help them look after the cattle, if they are a wealthy family. On the other hand, if the man could not afford to take care of this large family, it could lead to many family and marital issues and problems that can be reflected and borne by the community or the society. So if a person have multiple wives, many children, and does not have the resources to look after, you know, the problem can be borne by the society or the community, you know, and that can be reflected in social, political, and economical aspect of the nation or the society. Polyandrous marital relationship in which a woman has multiple husbands can also be considered rare, unique, and exceptional example of family relationship. It has several disadvantages in my judgment and less advantage. These include the freedom of both men and women to have relationship with whomever they want. However, the downside of the disagreement is that disagreement, conflict, and violence could occur any moment, stemming from jealousy, envy, or hatred between partners. Like polyandrous relationship, like a woman having multiple husbands, you know, it it has the advantage of women having the freedom, you know, to have relationship with whomever they wanted. But the disadvantage is, you know, people could, people could disagree, could get violence, you know. It can breed conflict, jealousy, and hatred if the partners or the husband or the men, you know, yeah, discover that actually, you know, one of the other is being loved than them. So it is never actually a right marital relationship, but you know, people do it, you know, and it's happened. Another negative aspect is that marital relation is the children involved. It can be problematic as to whom they belong. So children, if there are children in this polyandrous relationship, it has become very difficult to know, to whom the children belong to. This is why it's important to have a family planning before getting one, so people should not be surprised in the end. So when people know that polyandrous relationship is practiced in a country, so when you're coming to get married or start a family, you could discuss, you know, with your partner. Do you really know something like this? You know, are you going to engage in that sort of relationship in the future? And then get their consent, get their agreement, you know, get their acceptance, or, you know, if they are not agree, then the marriage or the family cannot go ahead. And that is, you know, that is a very healthy conversation, and it's very good thing to discuss, instead of later on discovering that your partner is engaged in polyandrous relationship where you could disagree or have a conflict and violence, and who knows, you know, what violence could lead to. So we need to be careful, and we need to be aware about the type of relationship that exists in our society. However, people, they must know and understand the type of marital relationship they're establishing, and what to do in case of family separation, divorce, and remarriage process. So, monogamous, polygamy, polyandrous marital relationship is different than not legally or religiously or culturally being married to one person, as in monogamous relationship or polygamous relationship or polyandrous relationship. There is a casual relationship, as in boyfriend and girlfriend, where there is no binding agreement or covenant that compels the person to stay in the marriage relationship. We're talking about love, marriage, relationship, family, love, marriage, relationship planning process. So, when it comes to other relationships, there's this casual relationship where boyfriend and girlfriend, or de facto relationship where couple are staying socially together without any binding agreement, that compel the person. The person is not compelled, to stay in the relationship because there is no binding agreement. The maximum number of wives or partners that people could have varies depending on cultural, religious, and legal norms in different societies. So here in polygamy, monogamy, and polyandrous relationship, we discussed that actually a man can have multiple wives and a woman can have multiple husbands. But it's very important to people actually to discuss how much a man can have of women, how much a woman can have of men. So this one also, it's very important to be discussed and to be decided in different societies. So in some cultures where polygamy is accepted and practiced, there may not be a strict limit on numbers of wives a man could have. So in cultures where polygamy is accepted or practiced, people could marry as many wives as they could, ranging from 2 to 5 to 10, and so it's very important to set a limit of how many spouses a person could have. However, it is important to note that even in these societies, there are often practical limitations based on factors such as resources, social status, and individual preferences. So even in that societies where these multiple spouses are practiced, there is a limitation that is determine the number of spouses a person can have, including resources, material resources, financial status, and individual preferences. However, in countries where polygamy is legally practiced, such as Middle East and African nations, men may legally marry multiple wives. Okay. On the other hand, in countries where polygamy is illegal, such as most Western nations, individuals are generally limited to one legal spouse at a time, as engaging in polygamy relationship in these countries may have legal consequences. When it comes to polyandry, the practice of a woman having multiple husbands is much less common than polygamy. In cultures where polyandry exists, the number of husbands a woman can have may also vary, but such arrangements are typically rare compared to polygamous relationships. The maximum number of wives and partners that people could have is influenced by complex interplay of cultural tradition, religious belief, and legal regulations. Therefore, it is important to consider the ethical implication, consent of all parties involved, and legal consideration when discussing multiple marital relationships. Okay, so it is true that marital relations differ and vary across the globe depending on cultural, religious, and legal practices in every country. We discussed that actually the type of marital relationship are different across the world, depending on many factors, including social, cultures, religious, and legal practices in every country and in every continent as well. Therefore, it is extremely important to know and understand this crucial aspect of life because it could prevent unnecessary problems in society if left unchecked. As a result of family planning is a significant step when planning to establish a relationship or getting married so that one could avoid undesired circumstances in the future. Family planning in this context means explaining and outlining the cultural, religious, and legal practices and procedures of how many partners are allowed for one to have. Doing this will make it easier and simple for people to adequately and effectively prepare for what they intended to achieve in their marital relationship when deciding to get married. This includes the number of partners, the number of children they are willing to have in life, provided that they have prepared and planned financially, physically, and emotionally. That was monogamous, polygamy, and polyandrous relationship in brief and in summary, and there is a huge chapter in family, love, marital relationship, planning process book. Okay, now that we discuss about this type of relationship, we touch on the role of the government and the state in the marital relationship. The marriage process in a country involves a combination of legal reforms, education, awareness campaign, and social support system. So, marriage, as we define that, is a social institution that is established between two couples, and is supported by the state or the government, where people could go and get a certification or a witness that these couples are now married and form a part of family. So when problem happen, like we discussed before, the state, the government, and the country, the society, the community play a very significant role in making this marriage and family relationship a success and a prosperous. Otherwise, as we stated, that the problems or the issues that could arise from family and marriage relationship could be reflected in society and community and the nation's social, political, and economical aspect. So it is the role of the government to intervene in making those social, cultural, legal, religious practices simple and easy and clear to people. So how can a government or the state or the society or the community help? We're going to discuss now. The government can implement laws, regulation to address issues such as forced marriage, child marriage, dowry abuse, and domestic violence. So this is point number one that the government can do in order to help people, start family and marriage relationship smooth and easy. The government can strengthen legal framework that could help protect individuals from harmful practices and ensure that marriage are consensual and equitable. The government and the state and the community society can also promote education and awareness about healthy relationship, consent, gender equality, human rights. It can also provide information and resources that can empower individuals to make informed decisions about marriage and relationship. This is really important because, the government can provide information that, as we discussed, when information are made available, they can make up powerful because people will have the guidance and direction what to do, when it comes to starting a family, marrying the right person in the right age, when it comes to dowry, so how many partners a person can marry. All these things, if the government make those information available, it become helpful. The government can also establish counseling service, support network for couple and family that can provide guidance, meditation, and assistance in resolving conflict and building healthy relationships. This is that's what we discussed before. That actually, in the event of family separation and divorce and remarriage, people could resort to counseling service that are made available, or community institution or legal institution that are made by the government to help family, sort out their differences and their problem. The government or the state, the community, the society can create economic opportunities and financial empowerment for women and marginalized communities to reduce financial dependence on dowry and improve financial stability within marriage. So this is very important because, getting married, it is a business to some societies, especially when the dowry is involved. So the government can actually intervene by deviating people's attention from financial dependence on dowries and empowering women through many avenues: education, through employment, you know, through sport, you know, and rather than families just depending on dowries, getting the girls to get married, and also to uh, to help themselves. If girls are educated, they get to workforce, they get to sport, they get engaged in uh, civic service, civil services, they can contribute more socially, economically, politically, rather than just being housewife or um, the mother of the house. While it is really important, but they have to be in the right age, in the right time, and by choice, not by force. So the government can actually do that. So the government can also engage with the community leaders, religious institutions, and grassroots organizations to challenge harmful tradition and promote positive attitude toward marriage. It's important that the government can gather community leaders, religious institutions, and to discuss about the harmful tradition and practices, of marriage and family relationship, and recommend uh, positive practices and promote positive practices toward marriage and family relationship. It can encourage and enforce marriage registration to ensure legal recognition of marriages and protect the rights of individuals, especially women and children. This is really important. Sometimes, uh, marriage registration, childbirth, all these things are very essential, when it comes to identification. Conducting research and collection of data to understand trends and challenges in the marriage process. Okay, so the government is the only institution that has the capacity, has the knowledge, has the resources to be able to do the research and collect data, to be able to know and understand what is really going on in terms of family marriage relationship, and if there are any problems, how it can be addressed. Okay, the government, state, community, society can monitor and evaluate um, by helping identify the areas of improvement and measure the impact of intervention. This is just related to the previous point, because when research is conducted and people come out with a recommendation and solution, there's going to be some monitoring and evaluation how that the recommendation progressing going. So if the government take this holistic approach by addressing legal, social, economic factors, a country can work toward improving the marriage family planning process by promoting healthy, safe, equitable family and marital relationship for all citizens and all people. Okay, I think I'll stop there because there is a lot of topic to be discussed and I've seem to have taken so much time. I think this is a long topic and it's a big book. Trust me, it's not small. So that was part one. This one is, I'm going to leave it to become part two. In part three, we're going to discuss raising children in the family, couples' duty and responsibility in love and marital relationship, peace, happiness in love and marital relationship, sexual intimacy in love and marital relationship, family, leisure, fun, activity and interests, family, religious practice and belief system, and then the conclusion. So I will stop at the role of the government and the state in the love and marital relationship, and we shall continue next time. Thank you very much for listening, guys. I hope I did not bore you by this long conversation, but it is really important, this important point that we discuss. If you wanted to have a healthy, positive and successful family, marital, love, relationship affair, you need to know about family, love, relationship, marital planning process. If you're already married, you could start where you are. If you have not, consider about planning, discussing this thing with your partner, with your potential partner, with your community. If you are a community leader, please think about these things. If you are a government, you are in a government, I think this is importantly applied to you because you are a lawmaker, and to consider, how our families and marital laws are made. Are they positive? Are they negative? What are the sort of things that practice that we could actually look at, to change, to improve, to make better in order to have healthy, positive family marital relationship in our community, in our family, in our society, and in the world, And yes, and this is in the journey of making the world a better place, because family is essential, if our family is healthy, our community is healthy, and our society is healthy, and the world is healthy too. So, and this is the purpose of family planning relationship. Okay, I think we have come to an end. So we have, in this last section, we discuss children, how many children a man could have, a couple could have, a married couple could have. Is very important, discussing it. Are we going to have from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? How many kids? Are you really able to look after those many kids, or are you going, you're just going to settle for a few? Too few as well, it can be a problematic. Maybe your auntie or your grandma will not accept it. she wants many kids. So it's very important. We also discuss infertility, barrenness. If you are, if infidelity happened to, after people got married and start a family, how can we address it? There is adoption, there is foster care, the IVF, there are so many things. We've discussed about family separation, and divorce and remarriage process. So these are the things that actually, if people are separated, if there is a chance of them getting back again, reconciliation. In the case of divorce, how can people get married again? All these things, must be discussed. Yeah, monogamous and polygamy and polyamorous relationship. Are you okay with having just one partner, or are you a type of person who just enjoy the freedom of having relationship with multiple? You know, depending. So all these things are things that we could discuss. And surprisingly, women that actually they wanted to have multiple husband is something that is amazing. I'm still thinking it. What, how come, these things happen? But we live in 21st century and everybody is free. So that's it. And then we discuss about the role of the government and how significant it is, to shape and influence the laws, the social, cultural, legal, religious practices regarding to family, love, marital relationship. So we can have prosperous, positive, healthy, successful family, marital relationship. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. God bless you. I hope you're going to be blessed by this video. Okay, all right. Oh my God.